Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel if you are new. Hello, my name is V. I am posting one video every single day up until Christmas. That is 25 videos. We are on day 10. If you missed any of my previous videos, make sure to check those out. Trust me, you do not want to miss out. If you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notifications as I'm inserting tons and tons of giveaways throughout the month of December. That being said, I know a lot of you guys have been struggling on how to find the community post on my channel. So if you click on my channel, it will show you up at the top different options and different little tabs. So you'll see home, videos, playlists, and then it says community. So you want to click on that community tab and it will take you to all of the posts that I have ever created. So make sure you are checking on there to see if you are the winner or not. That being said, I'm doing Santa nails. I'm so excited. They are 3D. I was dying to do some 3D Christmas nail art, so I'm really excited to be sharing that with you guys. I hope this helps you guys a ton. I broke it all the way down and you'll be able to see exactly every step that I took to create this set. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now let's get right into it. Getting right into today's video, I am starting off with a pre-prepped practice hand. I applied the Makartt tips in the natural color, and I'm just going ahead and filing the sides, making sure everything is nice and sharp. I do feel like these kind of flare out towards the top where it meets the natural nail, so I want to make sure that it's nice and straight, especially in that area. And then I'm just squaring off the tip as well so that I don't have to do a ton of filing at the end. It is definitely a lot easier to file at the beginning versus at the end, because at the end you have a lot more product to file through. And once I'm done with that, I'm going in with my acrylic application. For that, I am using the Not Polish acrylic brush in a size 12. And I'm using this really pretty nude color. It has the slightest shimmer glitter to it. This is called Bear With Me from Not Polish. I really like it. I haven't used it, so I wanted to go ahead and give it a go and see how I liked it. The shade is really pretty, definitely on the lighter side. And I love that the glitter is very subtle. So definitely recommend if you like the shimmery nudes. So I'm just going in with my regular acrylic application. I'm going to be applying that on the nail as my base, as I am going to be doing some topical nail art. I'm just focusing on that for now. Now, if you are new to my channel, I typically like to start in the middle section of the nail when working with acrylic. So I'm taking a medium-sized bead of acrylic, applying that in the middle section, and then I start gently bringing it down. If you are an OG to my channel, this is probably old news to you guys, and you already know exactly how I apply my acrylic. So I'm just focusing on the middle section, bringing that product down to the tip, and kind of trying to blend it out as much as possible. When working with acrylic, you don't have to do too much moving it around if you have the right products. Because I'm using not polish, I know that it blends very, very easily and it self-levels very well. So I'm just basically applying the powder where I want it, and then I start kind of patting it into place. And then as I'm wiping the sides of the nails, it also helps move the product downwards. So you'll see me doing very light motions of patting and then flattening out the sides as well. And it blends out very, very nicely. Another thing that does affect your application as well is your liquid to powder ratio. You need to try to get that down very well, and that will change your acrylic application game. I have a video that goes really in depth on exactly how I do my liquid to powder ratio, so check that out if you are struggling. But if you have it down, I know you feel the same way, and it does make a huge difference. I'm just going ahead and applying that acrylic as I normally do, just lightly blending it out into the other beads. Again, not polished powders are super blendable, very easy to work with. So if you are looking for a very good powder, definitely recommend this one. I'm going to be encapsulating with clear from Not Polish as well, and I'm just applying a layer of that over top. Whenever a powder has glitter or acrylic, or I'm encapsulating acrylic, I definitely want to add a good amount of clear, just because I don't want anything to be filed off once I get to the filing process, if that makes sense. This also helps add a little bit of extra strength to that nail that you will need, especially with long nails. For the most part, I apply it on top of the entire nail, but I will add a little bit more, especially in that apex area. Now once everything is nice and dry, I'm going in with my Kiara Sky rechargeable e-file. Along with that, I'm using the Kiara Sky 5-in-1 bit. This is medium grit. My favorite bit to use with finish filing. Definitely recommend it, and also for backfills, I love it. So I like to start off in the cuticle area and then gently go around it, making sure that the acrylic is nice and flush to the natural nail. You do not want it bulky. I say this in every single one of my videos. You want it to be nice and flush so that the product adheres properly and you don't cause any snagging, which leads to lifting. So I'm just going in around the cuticle, and then I lightly file the surface of the nail vertically up and down. I feel like I get the best movement when I'm doing it vertically up and down versus horizontally. Especially with long nails, this is definitely a lot easier. Now I'm going back in with my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file, filing the sides, making sure everything is nice and straight. I know I did file at the beginning, however, you still get a little bit of bulkiness, you still get a little bit of defects when you apply the acrylic. So I want to make sure that I am still filing at the end so that the shape is nice and perfect. Now I'm flipping the hand around to look at the nails from the client's perspective. This helps see any defects that you might not see from your view, but from the client's view. Definitely recommend this if you are struggling with the nails being crooked. And then I'm just going ahead and squaring that off, making sure that I'm holding the finger nice and snug so that it doesn't cause any movement that can make your client uncomfortable. Trust me, it's happened to me before and I do not like that feeling. So you definitely don't want your client to feel that either. I'm going in with my sponge buffer from Profiles Backstage and just buffing the surface of the nail. I'm going to be doing a 3D Santa Claus on the ring finger. I'm going right in and I'm using my size 12 acrylic brush from Not Polish to do the bulk of the face. And then I'm going to be going into the details with a smaller brush. So I just used about a medium-sized bead of acrylic, kind of trying to get it as round as possible or to the desired shape that I want. And making it nice and flat, I'm trying to use the same amount of pressure throughout so that it is nice and even and it's not thicker in certain areas. So I'm just going to continue to pat it into place until I'm content with that. I do like that I have a little bit of time to work with this powder, as it does set a little bit slower. Now once I'm content with that shape, I let it dry, and I'm going in with my 3D nail art brush from Amazon. It is linked in my Amazon storefront, so make sure you guys check that out if you are in the market for a new 3D nail art brush. It's my favorite. I've used it for like 4 years. Still going strong. I'm taking a small bead using that and doing a tiny nose. I went with a round shape and I flattened it out a little bit. Now this is going to be the lip. And the reason why I am shaping it like this is because I know for a fact that that's the only portion that's going to be showing. So I don't have to do a full mouth because there's really no point since it's going to be covered. And if you are familiar with my work, you will note that I don't like to layer on a ton of layers. So I make sure that I try to make it easier on myself, I guess. Or maybe it's more complicated, to be honest. So now I'm just doing the tiny little eyeballs. I'm going in with black acrylic, very, very, very small beads. I tried to get them as close as possible in size. And then I just started flattening it out. And I'm going to be adding the details in afterwards. Now I'm taking white acrylic. This is Ice Queen from Not Polish, and I'm going to be doing the mustache area. And so you will note that I did get a little bit too much product, and I'll show you exactly how I fixed that. So this is probably at the point where I noticed that it was too much. So I just started wiping it away and continued to try to get the shape that I wanted, and then I just scraped off the excess. I'm going to be doing that same shape on the opposite side. Now I'm going to be doing the beard. This is very, very easy to achieve if you are familiar with doing flowers. I use the same method as I do when doing simple petals for flowers. So I'm getting a small bead of acrylic, definitely a lot bigger than you saw me using for the eyes and the nose and stuff. So I'm applying that where I want it to start, and then I flatten it out gently, and then I almost taper that top area just a little bit. So I want the bulk of the product to be at the bottom because I am going to be layering more petals over top. So as you can see, I'm just flattening it out just a little bit, making sure that I'm kind of carving out that design so that they don't touch and mix together. Now I'm doing another one right in the middle section. And I will say, if you have dry acrylic on the bottom, it makes it a lot easier. For example, that left bottom petal, or part of the beard, I guess I should say, I did let it dry a little bit before I went in with this one, just so they didn't run into each other. If you add wet acrylic to semi-wet acrylic, it will slow up the process and they're gonna mix together, blend together, and you're not gonna get those details that you want. So I'm going in on the other side and doing another petal. Again, tapering it almost at the top to kind of make it look like it's blended. And then I'm just going to continue that, placing them around the face area. Once I get to the corners up top, I do use smaller beads of acrylic, and I make smaller little petals just because I want it to look tapered up. For the most part, when you look at a beard, it tapers down into like a V shape. So that's kind of what I'm trying to mimic. I'm taking another tiny bead of white acrylic and doing the small petal just to point it out at the end. Like I said, to kind of give that illusion of that V-shaped or tapered in at the tip. Now I'm going to be doing the Santa hat. For this, I'm using French Kiss from Not Polish. I love this red. It is a perfect Christmas red for sure. Definitely vibrant and perfect. So I'm going to start off with the base of kind of a beanie. Rounded at the top, flat at the bottom. I'm just basically placing it wherever I want over top of the head. And I'm not really focusing too much on the bottom part because that's going to be covered anyways. Now, once I get the desired shape, I'm going in with another bead of acrylic. And this is going to be the pointed part of the hat. And I'm going for the flipped hat illusion. So I'm adding a bit of acrylic, carving it out, and then I'm going to be adding more acrylic to give it that height that I want and that thickness. Building it up, flattening it out. At that point right there, I do want it to be tapered in and blended to the beanie part of it, just because it gives the illusion of it actually being connected and it's actually being flipped over, if that makes sense. Again, I'm just going to continue to flatten it out where I feel like it needs to be flattened. If you do the steps just like I'm doing it, you'll get it down. It is easy whenever you actually see it done. A lot of the time breaking down a design is kind of hard. Now I'm taking a bead of white acrylic. This is going to be the little cotton ball at the end of the hat, and you want to add some texture to that. While it's drying, I'm kind of picking at it with the tip of my brush. When working with powders like this, it is a little bit tricky just because they're so blendable. It's like they want to continue to self-level. So adding texture to it was definitely interesting. I'm like, come on, add texture, and it was like, nah, I'm gonna self-level. It was freaking funny because I kept trying to do it and it was just smoothing out. Now I'm doing the border around the face with white. I'm honestly applying it pretty messy because the product is just so blendable that I knew it was going to start self-leveling and just continue to be flat. So I purposefully tried to put it on there as messy as possible. And as you can see, it starts flattening it out on its own. And I was like, no. So I continued to like pick at it to try to get it to stop and to add texture to it. And then it worked out. It looks really, really cute. So as it started drying even more, it continued to just self-level. So then I took some tweezers, and you'll see me at one point or another. I took some tweezers and took that pointed part of it and started stabbing it just to add more texture to it. Because I honestly wanted it to be very, very texturized. Now I'm taking Frosting White gel paint from Profiles Backstage and applying the smallest amount to the eye. And then I cured that in the light. Now with that same pink color that I used for the mouth, I am adding some blush. So I'm taking the smallest, like barely even visible to the eye amount, and just rubbing that into his cheeks. I want it to look like it's like he's cold and he's red from the cold. So I'm applying that to his cheeks and then ever so lightly onto his nose as well. Now I'm moving on to the rest of the nails. For that, I'm using Not Polish Matte. I'm going to be using this as my base because I am going to be doing some sugaring over top. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and my coworkers kind of threw out some ideas. I asked my husband, and I opted for the simplest solution. So I'm applying that to the surface of the nail, curing it in the light, at least for 1 minute. Once it's out of the light, I am going to be mixing some red frosting gel paint from Profiles Backstage with the black one, just to make it a little bit deeper. I want it to match perfectly with the hat. So I added some black, and then I realized I put way too much black. So then I added more red. And then you can see the color coming together and it starts matching very well with the one from Not Polish. So now taking that same red that I just mixed, I'm going to make sure my brush is nice and saturated. And I'm going to be doing the slanted edge design on the rest of the nails. The brush is from Amazon. It's my favorite go-to, so definitely recommend it. And I'm just cleaning up any areas, making sure it's nice and sharp edged. Now I'm taking this raw, really pretty red glitter, and I'm going to be applying that on the wet gel paint, and then I'm going to move on to the next nail. I just didn't want the gel paint to move, so I went ahead and put the glitter as it kind of holds it in place. So I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the nails. And remember, everything is still wet because I am adding the raw glitter to the uncured paint. So taking that red glitter, splattering it over the gel paint, placing that in the light for 2 minutes, making sure everything is nice and cured. That basically concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a ton, and I will catch you guys next time.